Okay, so it's New Year's Day, 2023.
January 1st.
The islands open up, the causeway opens up tomorrow,
January 2nd.
January 2nd.
It has been 3 months and a few days since Hurricane Ian hit Sanibel Captiva and Southwest Florida. That was on September 28th, 2022. And we just wanted to get everybody an update to show the progress and where we are at the minute. So
we're coming up to the checkpoint here. This will be disbanded tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah, so
people out in the water.
Still as of today, you need a re-entry pass, which we do have. A little backstory. Introduce yourself, Nick.
I'm Nick
and
Adams. I'm a photographer on the island, photographer and filmmaker. We've been out on the islands for 20 years, and we lost our business during the Hurricane Ian, and our house got flooded, and we're in the process of rebuilding ourselves. So important times coming up. There's a lot of work going on the islands, but they're hoping once they open up the bridge to everybody that a lot more contractors will be able to get on the bridge, which is a good thing.
And I'm Lori, I'm Nick's wife. And we also have in the car with us our son, Max. So this is a checkpoint that has been in place since Hurricane Ian hit. For 3 weeks, the actual causeway was broken and you couldn't actually access the island. They came in and miraculously were able to repair the bits of the causeway that were broken. So that was 3 weeks after the storm. So since then, we've had this checkpoint to get on the island where you actually have to have a pass, and to get a pass you either have to be a resident of the island or a business owner or a contractor that's working for somebody on the island. So it has been a bit of a struggle to get people out here to actually get their homes repaired. So as of tomorrow, which will be January 2nd, 2023, the city has decided to disband the passes. It is a polarizing topic. Some homeowners, residents don't want the island to be open, others do, so we won't get into that bit, but that's the reality and that's what's going to happen. So here we are coming up. We've had police from all over the states and I think all over the United States, haven't they? The police have come to... I mean, definitely all over Florida for sure. Yeah, have come to assist our Sanibel Police Department. It looks like these people might not have a pass in front of us, so they're getting maybe turned around. Redirected. Yeah, we have our pass, so we're getting the thumbs up, and here we are. We're going through the causeway, or through the toll booth right now. You see lots of cone barricades still up. Before the hurricane hit, they had actually taken away the toll workers, their little kiosks. They had taken that away, and it's now a pay-by-plate. So there's actually a system where they take a picture of your license plate, and then they either match it to know that you have a toll transponder, right? Or if you don't have a leeway or one of the sun passes, then they'll send you a bill in the mail. It is a gorgeous day on Sanibel today. Amazingly, it's almost, I think 79, it's going up to 79 degrees today. So it has been hot. It is a picture perfect, beautiful day. So here we are coming down the bridge, and you can see to the right where they are bringing in sand. We don't know what exactly they're gonna do with the bridges at the moment. They are still, I think the plans are still in the works. The city of Lee County actually owns the Sanibel Causeway, so it is up to them to decide what they want to do with it. So I think the plans, they're still formulating the plans, what they're actually going to do. We haven't heard yet what the final plans are going to be. But as of now, this is what it looks like. You can see lots of big trucks to the side. A few trees survived. As of now, you are not allowed to stop on the causeway. You cannot cross over as a pedestrian, and you're not allowed to bring a bike across either.
So yeah, it's a big turnaround from where it was. You can see big cranes are still here. They've been here constantly since the bridge has been started to be repaired. It almost, although it's a temporary bridge, it does seem much more like it seems much more like a permanent solution. There is paved and everything.
It's amazing that they were able to put it back. And after the storm, when we saw that the bridge had been compromised, I personally thought it would be a year before we'd be able to actually get back out to the island. So for them to, in 3 weeks' time, to have this bridge repaired and people able to get back out to their homes and businesses was incredible. You see the sun is shining. There's somebody out there on a jet ski. I see several boats out. If it wasn't for all this damn equipment and everything, it would be a
You can see how much wider the islands are going to be. See, looking to your right, it's definitely a lot wider than it was. And there's the original part. There's still the blocks from the
tea grinds that they had made.
Tea grinds that they'd made for the improvements of the island.
They brought in a lot of, I don't know, what do you call that, rubble on the left-hand side and right, these big rocks. I guess they're going to try to use those in some way to shore up the islands. So if this ever happens again, we won't have the devastation that we did before on the Causeway Islands, I'm guessing.
The actual spans did well. There wasn't any damage to the spans apart from where the islands joined the spans. That portion that's raised up from the island to the span was washed away, but the actual spans themselves.
I don't know if you can see to our left, there are 3 boats just cruising along. It looks full of people out enjoying the beautiful day. We have been out on our boat as well, and you would think you'd see lots of debris in the water, but we really haven't. I don't know where it's all gone. So here we are approaching the...
Having said that, there's a lot of shortcuts that we know when we do go boating that we're not using, just because there could be debris, so we're sticking to the deepest parts of the channels.
Yeah.
And you see the barge that they were using to bring heavy equipment on is still there, and I think it's ready in anticipation in case they need it again. Although they stopped using it after, well, not completely. They stopped using it apart from big, huge loads of semi-trucks.
Okay, so here we are. We just made it to Sanibel. You see there's more police and a big sign that says Sanibel Beach is closed, which is true even though the causeway opens to the public tomorrow. All the beaches are closed. There's no parking. All the beaches are barricaded. So here we are to the right. You'll see the Sanibel Captiva Islands Chamber of Commerce. That is shut at the minute. They do have some portalets or porta potties out there. And then we are approaching the 4-way stop.
So what we're going to do, we're going to head down towards the east end of the island. We're not going to go all the way to the lighthouse because there really is nothing there. They've actually closed the road just before the lighthouse. It's closed to the public, it's closed to everybody. So
this is Periwinkle Way we're coming up to in the 4-way stop. And you can see there's big signs everywhere. Unlicensed contracting is a felony. They're trying to stop contractors coming and taking advantage of people. So we just turned left onto Periwinkle. And this bridge, which they were calling the East Periwinkle Bridge, was actually compromised during the storm as well, and it was out of service for months. So I think about a month ago they were able to repair it, and we're now able to cross this bridge. So we're just coming up. This is Penshell Drive on our right and Limpet Drive on the left. As you can see, there's still debris being pulled out from houses. This is King's Crown Drive on the right and Golden Olive Court. Lots of vegetation debris. And we have Paper Fig and Anchor Drive.
Here we got the sea school on the right hand side. And on the left, we've got
Can you roll the right window down?
The Seahorse Shops, which was home of Sanibel's Best Ice Cream. They had the Lighthouse Restaurant, Tuttle's, and then what was the Seahorse Shops, and it's now called Emotions Coastal Wear. And then the big East End Deli was on the right back there. You still see tons of debris and vegetation. It really depends on when people are coming back to clean out their houses, because I mean, they clean it up and then more people come back, and so more stuff gets dragged out. There's Snug Harbor on your right. And then we're coming up to Shell Island Beach Club on your right. You see they've put up some gate or some fencing to keep people out.
This is coming down to the lighthouse. You can't get past that. You're going to see that it's going to be fenced off, and you can't get down there. So,
and for those of
there's
you,
no parking down there or anything.
right?
So.
For those of you that don't know, the lighthouse did lose one of its legs during the storm. For a while, people were saying that we had lost the actual lighthouse itself, but that was not true. Thank goodness. It did lose one of its legs, and the keepers' cottages have been wiped out as well. They were able to miraculously find the leg to the lighthouse buried under the sand. It was broken into several pieces, so they were able to recover that. Right now, they do have a temporary leg on the lighthouse, and they're working to make a more permanent fix.
Again, we got Max in the back there. He's filming out the side window.
But
and looking at Snug Harbor.
Right, but those of you that have been down this area before, it was so beautiful with vegetation everywhere, and you can see that it is stripped of it. That darn hurricane has stripped a lot of our beautiful vegetation, but Mother Nature does amazing things, and I'm sure she will bring it back to its glory.
Sorry, that wasn't Snug Harbor before. That was.
It
was it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're going to take.
So this is Sea Grape Lane we're passing. Yes. And back again to, on the left here is Paper Fig East. They have the Paper Fig Deli and Tahitian Gardens, and they opened this Paper Fig East probably about 6 months before the hurricane.
All this was flooded on this end. I mean, it's safe to say that pretty much everything.
And now we're turning left onto East Gulf Drive.
Which Max's camera in the back is going to have a much better view of everything, because all the damage is going to be, well, we're not here looking at damage, but just to show you what's open and what's not. And yeah, I think you'll come
just to give everybody really a realistic view of what the island looks like.
What to expect.
Expect. This is 3 months after the hurricane. This is January 1st, 2023. So we just really want to give people a realistic view of what the island looks like 3 months after the hurricane. And here's the Colony Inn on the left. And we're going around these S-curves. Straight ahead is a
beach access?
A beach access for residents only, but all the beach accesses are not open at the moment. So even though you're allowed to come on the island, the passes are no longer required. No beach accesses are open. There's nowhere to park. So I'm sure several of the restaurants are reopened, so they would welcome you to come and get your lunch or dinner, but unfortunately there's nowhere to park to access the beaches.
And we have the Kinsey Island Club on the left, and Kinsey Island is actually on the right.
That's St. Croix on the left. All right, we're gonna slow down a bit. Okay, this is Surf Rider right here. That was the Summer of 42 house back there, which looks like it's gone.
Yep.
And then
This whole building here has been removed from its foundation and was placed on the right-hand side of the road. It's all been cleared. Most of it's been cleared away now, but Surf Rider.
yeah, that was Surf Rider. That was like a 2-story building there that was swept off.
Completely gone.
Yeah.
See the bikes all underneath there. And some of these places don't know how they're going to be coming back. There's a lot of, in Florida, there's a ruling, especially in hurricane zones, that buildings that don't conform to hurricane standards, if there's more than 50% of the structure is damaged, then you're not allowed to rebuild it as it was. You have to build it to code. So there's a lot of those sort of issues going on right now. Some of these buildings are pretty old and they don't meet code, so they're still not sure how they're going to rebuild. What's
Right.
this?
This is Sandalfoot.
Sandalfoot here.
Yeah, we passed Beachcomber and White Pelican, and now we're at 671 Periwinkle, which is home of Sandalfoot. And then next up is Sabrina Beach. Yes. And then we're going to be coming up to Sanibel Arms Condominiums, which is a big resort.
All the beachfront condos you can see at the back there, they were washed right through.
Still tons of debris, even though
Sanibel Arms West.
yeah, even
coming
though
up
they
now.
are working hard to clean everything up. It's just everything just keeps coming back out again. More and more stuff piles up. That's Sanibel Arms West still. And then next up will be Sanibel Moorings, where the striped beach umbrellas are. And then Song of the Sea is next, which is right here on the left.
So I'm going to see, if you look through the office there, you'll see that there's actually nothing in there. It's just completely washed through.
Victoria Cove on your right. Those are looking pretty good. They're raised up. And then we have the Sanibel Inn, which you wouldn't, before the hurricane, you could never see the buildings. There's vegetation. And this is Lindgren. We're coming to the 4-way stop at Lindgren. So if you turn to the right here, you would be head right back to the causeway. So this is Sanibel Inn. And then next up is Tortuga Beach Club. And then Loggerhead Cay. Then we have Shorewood, and then Sanibel Surfside. Oh, sorry, that's Plantation. And now we're coming up to the stop where you turn left to Middle Gulf Drive.
An iguana, right in the road in front of us. Feeling quite confident that he's not going to get run over. Okay, turning right onto Middle Gulf Drive. Very few residents have stayed out. Those that have said that it's rather a lonely existence. Obviously, not many people around, so. And there's a curfew, 6 p.m. So.
I think it's gonna be long. I feel like it's gonna be like 9 to 6. I'm gonna double check that. 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. is the curfew.
Is it?
I think. I will double check that though. So, what is straight ahead? That is. Sanibel Beach Club.
Sanibel Beach Club, yeah.
Which, if you have been to Sanibel Beach Club in the past, you'll remember all the beautiful vegetation and the greenery. And unfortunately, it does not look like that at the moment.
I was just going to take a look down here.
Again, this is another beach access that would be open normally, but during this time, like we said, the city has decided to close all the beach accesses. So every beach access you come to, you'll find these signs, and they will be barricaded off.
Around them. So coming up on our left, we're going to be going around to the straight part of Middle Gulf Drive.
It's so weird because all your points of reference are gone. Even though we've been here 23 years, I'm still like second guessing where I actually am on the island. Don't you feel like that, Nick?
Yeah, and lots of the things, like if you're looking on the left-hand side here, you wouldn't be able to see into these resorts.
In the past,
in the
right.
past. And then
now here we are at Shorewood.
If you can see, look at the people have been painting messages on there's an appliance there. It says peace, love.
Sanibel.
Peace, love, Sanibel.
And here we are at the four-way stop at Donex. And this is the Sanibel Island Beach Resort, which had a great tiki bar. Hopefully it will come back. Looking straight ahead, you will see the Sanibel Island Golf Club, and that's
Beachview Estates.
Beachview Estates is all back in there. The Sanibel Island Golf Club has reopened, which is a great thing if anybody wants to play some golf. And on your left will be Sanibel Siesta on the beach.
And here we go, coming around to the straight end.
And that's another beach access straight ahead. You can see is closed off. And then Compass Point is on your left.
So a lot has happened even since we were first back on the island a week after the storm.
There's Sunset South.
There's a ton of, it's a big improvement already, so it's going to be...
I think exponentially from now on. I think maybe we've turned a corner, hopefully. This is Moon Shadows. And another reason they want to reopen the islands is to have people, the contractors will be able to more freely come out, because before each person can only have 2 passes.
On your left. Sundial was untouched for a long while, and it's...
What do you mean? Oh, untouched.
Untouched. There was power lines down across the front of the buildings. Now
Oh.
it's cleaned up a lot.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
After the storm, it was still, Max and I walked back there while we were doing a job and trying to find film, and there was a lot of cars in the lakes and things like that. So it's
There's the tennis courts there, and now we're coming up to the main part of Sundial, where the main pool is and all the restaurants, and Bailey's grocery store was down below there.
I wonder if we should turn the A1 to the left.
yeah, we can
Like
do.
45 to the left.
We are gonna
No.
stop for a minute and adjust.
You're going to get the
Oh.
left, aren't you?
All right, we're not adjusting the camera. All right, so carrying on with Sundial, it is a huge property. I would say the biggest property on the island,
Well, on Sanibel.
on Sanibel. It goes on, but it did sustain a lot of damage, unfortunately. Max was
Another
out here.
message coming up.
Yep. Peace, love, Sanibel.
Peace, love, Sanibel. Hey, Max, why don't you tell us a bit about what you found when you first came out?
I mean, I think
just
I was here first
Gulfside Place.
3 or 4 days after the hurricane, filming people's houses for them to let them know how they were doing. I actually did a lot of properties on Middle Gulf right here. And
How high were
I
the
did that house
floodwaters?
right there, actually, that purple house. And there was trees all downed in that yard when I first got there. I had to step over a giant tree just to get to the front door.
And how high do you think the floodwaters came, or the surge, I guess?
Oh, 6, 7 feet. I saw a 10-foot water line down towards past Tarpon Bay. That house that I just showed you, they told me that the spare key was in the pool room, and I had to call them and let them know that they didn't have
Let's
a
go
pool
down
room
Old
anymore.
Middle Gulf, because we haven't been down there, which is here.
And so it's almost every actually every first floor on the island that I saw was completely destroyed. They have made astounding progress cleaning up the debris, the trees, and just random things that you still see now, but now in controlled piles. This pile right here is something that you would see literally every corner,
So that's
in every tree, just construction materials.
clamshell condos, and now we're coming up to Signal Inn on the left here. So this is considered Old Middle Gulf, and at the end will be Sandpiper Beach Resort, and yeah, this bit got hit pretty bad.
Yeah, so yeah, you'll notice, I mean, a lot of, fortunately for the people that have houses like this, the stilt home, they didn't sustain too much damage, like people lost their pool rooms and stuff, and storage lockers, but most people, as long as their roof stayed intact, if they were on stilts, they were okay.
Yeah, this is Sandpiper Beach Resort here.
And a lot of these buildings that were cement block, you would see the cement block being ripped out, which is pretty impressive to see.
They have breakaway walls that are under some of the buildings that are designed to break away given the flood, so that the water flow doesn't add stress to the structure. So some block walls are actually designed to collapse on the newer buildings,
Yeah.
to let water flow through. But that's not the case in all of them. Some of them were just block buildings that had collapsed.
So coming back out, Old Middle Gulf dead ends into the Sandpiper Beach Resort. So now we're gonna come back past Signal Inn. Okay, we are restarting. So yes, once again, Signal Inn on the right. This is where I first came in the 70s. My aunt and uncle built this property with a partner. So they lived on property and managed it. What's up?
Rick and Elise lived on it
Yeah.
and managed it?
Yeah.
Look at that.
And then they then built Clamshell, which was beside Signal Inn, which we're coming up to, and Clamshell looks like a shell of itself. There is not much left. Yeah, that pile of rubble was actually their condo. It's hard to see. And now we're coming back out of Old Middle Gulf Drive, and we're going to turn left onto Middle Gulf. And that was my aunt and uncle's house straight ahead. Looks like it did okay. They have now sold, and they are down in Naples, Florida, after living out on the island for about 40 years. As you can see, the bike paths still full of dirt and debris, so might not be a good time to come biking just yet. We need to go back and check on the old cemetery.
It's boarded off, look.
Yeah.
Not allowed back there.
So we're still on Middle Gulf, and we're going to come up here to Sanibel Road at the stop sign. So once again, turning left now onto Sanibel Road. It is a gorgeous day out here. Picture perfect for January 1st, 2023. So I guess they're trying to separate the appliances, I'm thinking, so that's why you see so many appliances still out. That Children's Education Center, the island, looks like their sign was on the left-hand side, it's now on the right. So that's where our kids went to preschool. That is, the entrance to that is coming up here on the left. That'll be right here. The entrance to the Children's Education Center is back there on the left behind that chain. And then to your left is the entrance to Gulfside City Park, which again, the same thing. It is closed. And right before Gulfside City Park is another big resort called Ocean's Reach. Which would be down here on your right.
There's another iguana.
Yep. There's Ocean's Reach. So we are thinking good thoughts for everybody for 2023, and knowing that everybody is working hard to restore everything to welcome all the visitors and all the people that love these islands back. Again, more appliances. And you can see Ocean's Reach actually has gated in front of it. So a lot of the condo complexes are...
There is an eagle up to the left though, look.
Oh, yeah.
See that, Max, up in the...
Or is it osprey?
Oh, it's an osprey,
Osprey,
I'm sorry.
yeah. There's an osprey. His nest is a little bit tilted, but he or she... I don't know, I can't
hard to
either.
see.
Yeah. So a lot of the condo complexes have gated off their properties because the condos are individually owned, so they want to make sure they protect their owners' things. There has been some looting, unfortunately, on the island, which is horrible and sad, and if you're a looter out there, yeah, just don't do it. I think that's what they're worried about, why they've kept the causeway closed for so long, only to pass holders, is because a lot of the people are snowbirds. And
one good thing coming up here on the right, you can see this sailboat, and this sailboat on your right was actually at the end in the mangroves, so they've managed to salvage it. Coming back out on the Sanibel Road, up on the left here we've got Sanibel coming up.
Those of you that have been here in the past, you'll remember this was full of vegetation. You really couldn't see back into the resort. This is where the tennis courts were at the front and the entrance to Sanibel. There was a little, not a security hut, but a cute little building there, and a beautiful fountain and the lake. And there was a little gazebo on the lake that we've taken many pictures at. Unfortunately, that does not look like it's made it. I see bikes and other things in the lake that definitely should not be there.
And then this is coming up to the end of Sanibel. What's the next one up, Larry? We've got White Sands coming up. 2311 West Gulf Drive.
And this is Point Santo, the red buildings on your left. Not the red roof. Point Santo de Sanibel.
Did we see, is the building still in the middle? I don't know if it is. It's not. Now we're coming up to the stop at Tarpon Bay.
Those are the Tarpon beach condos on the left. And you can say on the left-hand side, this would be the entrance to Tarpon Bay Beach. Once again, it is closed. And this is Pine Cove. All right, now we're coming up to La Playa.
So Max, you were on the island earlier. Where did you find most of the damage, or most of it? I mean, it's pretty bad all down this area, but where were the highest water tide marks or water lines?
Definitely, this is it. This is where it was the worst. Middle Gulf, just after Tarpon Bay. This is right.
This is King's Crown here, and we're
over on the
just pulling over so another car can pass.
I think around here, back if you go to the right, I believe it's called Daniel Drive. I think I saw a water line above my head. So I think
and
it was
you're
like an 8
6
to
feet
10.
tall?
Yeah, I'm 6 feet tall. I think it was an 8 to 10 foot water line down in the residential areas, down on the right here on Daniel Drive. Right down there, and
well, just stop here, Nick, because
that was no longer. I didn't even know that road was paved, to be honest, when I until now. Because it was completely sanded over when I went over there.
And this is sad to see. This is the Sandbar, which is a restaurant that has been on the island for years and years. It was called the Nutmeg House. It's gone through many iterations, but
now the building behind it stood.
Yeah, the Sandbar is not looking too good right now.
And then this is I keep forgetting the name. The Shalimar.
Unfortunately didn't make it.
This is another. to our right was probably a 15-foot pile of rubble, which was that which used to be Shalimar, was then bulldozed off off the street over to the right. But they've since cleared it off. But now they're even removing all the concrete and completely, it is completely gone now.
Then we have Sandpiper, and then this is Whitecaps.
Whitecaps didn't fare so well, obviously.
Yeah. And we have Villas of Sanibel. And the atrium.
I actually built a bathroom in that place.
You did. And then the Hurricane House Resort. I hope I'm saying, it's just so hard. I've lost all point of reference where I am. Okay, next we have Blue Gulf. We are right here. And then we have Royal Turn. Luckily, they have put up some temporary signs. And West Shore, and then Genonia. I mean, it looks nothing like it did before the hurricane, this road. Sunward of Sanibel. And Tantera. Sandy Bend. And Sayana. And now we're coming up to the Island Inn, which is
anything there before?
the oldest resort on the island.
Was there anything there before, Mom?
Where?
Where we're looking right here.
There was the restaurant,
Yeah.
Traditions.
Traditions Restaurant was there, all the old cottages. This is the oldest resort on the island. What is left is what you see straight ahead, which they built probably 3 or 4 years ago, and it is actually open. I think it has 12 rooms, so you can actually rent and stay there. This is Wedgwood. And Seascape. Somerset at the Reef. And Tamarin at the Reef. And we're coming up to Sunset Beach Inn. Next up is Lantana on the Gulf. And that was Beachview Cottages right there. That big pile of rubble.
Yeah.
Docinia,
So
and this
West
is
Wind.
West Wind Inn. Which,
So this is pretty much the last of the resorts. There's one more a ways down, but let's turn around and we'll...
yeah, West Wind Inn had a restaurant.
What's the last one? Blue Dolphin?
Blue
Called
Dolphin,
Normandy.
yeah.
And we're turning around and you'll see the West Wind Inn again. That's where the restaurant was back there. They had a great tiki pool bar, which I'm sure they will again in the future. Just stop at Beachview. This is Beachview Cottages here. Was Beachview Cottages. Wow. Ugh, that is so heartbreaking to see. Yeah. You can see all the bright colors of the cottages, the lime green and the purples and the oranges and the blues. They were so cute.
Going back past
Sunset.
Beach.
Guess we'll just keep quiet for a minute while we go back past all the resorts, and you can kind of take in everything. We're planning on doing this January 1st of 2024, and we will...
Maybe January 2nd would be a better day.
Why?
Just saying.
Are you feeling rough?
No.
Oh, Island Inn again. Why January 2nd?
I think you get just the joke.
I don't get it.
Because we all went out last night.
Oh, gotcha. January 2nd. So, 2024, we're going to revisit Sanibel Captiva and show you where the progress has been.
Right, we're going to cut off from here and then we'll rejoin. We're going to head left on Tarpon Bay Road and then we're going to turn right along Periwinkle and show you Periwinkle. We can't show the entire island today, but we're going to do as much as we can. Okay, here we go. Coming up to Tarpon Bay Road.
We're turning left on Tarpon Bay. To your right would be the beach access. You can see once again it is closed. And there's two preserves, Dayton Preserve and Franny's Preserve on the left and the right. Those are owned by SCCF. And then on your right here, this would be the parking lot to access Tarpon Bay Beach. It's called the Tross parking lot. And you can see the vegetation is very brown, not the beautiful lush green that we're used to on the islands, but Mother Nature is miraculous, and we can see some sprouts and greenery starting to reappear.
Right after the hurricane, there was, here on the left we've got Bailey Tract,
which is walking trails. There's a meditation trail that's owned by the Janding Darling National Wildlife Preserve.
The colour of the island right after the hurricane is an amazing bright crimson red, and I don't know if it's just the mangrove water or if it's the stripped foliage, but everything had this auburn red colour. Coming up on the right is going to be Bailey's General Store, and on the left, a few hundred yards ahead, is going to be what was Lily's, by all
Jewelry
accounts,
store.
Lily's Jewelry Store, which in itself is a historic building. They're apparently not coming back to the island.
I think they might still have an online presence. If you could check their website, I believe they maybe still are selling the jewelry, but we've heard that they will not be coming back to the island. And like Nick said, here on your left is Bailey's Bailey's General Store. Before the hurricane, they'd actually knocked down the cinema, so that was gone before the hurricane.
They were planning a big remodel, but I think now it's going to be more of a rebuild than a remodel. They're not sure. On the left here we've got Doc Ford's.
You can hear about it in our latest podcast.
Yeah, actually on latest podcast with.
It's going to be out on this week.
It'll be out this week with Dane Johnson, who's one of the family members.
And we're passing Doc Ford's on the left. And this is George and Wendy's, which was another historic building for about 40 years. It was named the Coconut Grove, and then it changed hands several times, but George and Wendy's have had it maybe 12 or 13 years. We've heard that they're not coming back either. I don't know. I know everything's still up in the air. And then this is the old Sanibel shops.
J-Rod's, we've got Sanibel Art and Frame. There was the dog store in the corner,
Island
Over
Paws.
Easy Cafe. And what's
Suncatchers Dream.
Suncatchers
owned
Dream.
by- and Amy Something Special.
But all flooded out, so
And this is the Island Inn Road, the opposite end of the Island Inn Road, where everybody stages for the parade. And here we are, we're at the four-way stop again and we're gonna turn right onto Periwinkle Way, the main thoroughfare of the islands. So we'll go slow here. On the left, we have
the 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven, and on the right, the stores in the Bailey's Plaza, which was Billy's Bikes, Spoondrift Island Bowls. We had the Savory Spoon, Tips and Toes, Joey's Custard.
And you see the Model T Ford that's...
I think it's
Model A, is it? Sorry. Apparently they're going to be able to get it running again, but another thing we talk about in the podcast.
And then the bank on the left,
We've
which
got
that's been shut for a while.
Sanibel Captiva Trust Company, yeah.
Oh, they're moving into
They're moving into that, yeah.
And then over here on the left is the home of fish, and there was a restaurant at the front called the Blue Rendezvous. And then Jean's Books, if you go online and look at the post from Jean's Books, that was horrific just to see. It was such a cool shop. They had stacks of books everywhere and just little nooks and crannies with books everywhere. But obviously, they all got destroyed from the surge.
Sanibel Captiva Community Bank on the left, and then there's the little plaza in here which had a couple of restaurants.
Sanibel Sprout was here on the right. They had just moved from Bailey's Plaza maybe 6 months ago. There's Cape Nails, the Clam Shack. And Sanibel Captiva Community Bank is straight across, and they are actually open and serving their customers. And the other location for Jean's Books was here on the right. Such a cool shop. Hopefully they'll be able to come back.
You just go a little way up here, which is
Palm Ridge Road.
On the right, you've got Cook's Plaza. I'm not sure if that's the official name, but...
And what was in there, Nick?
Lots of small businesses, restaurants.
Sanibel Deli's actually open.
Sanibel Deli is open. Woo, woo.
Ooh, which I'm hungry. Are you?
Seafood, yeah, I'm starving.
Should we go get something?
Yeah.
I don't think they're open today.
The door's open. No, it's not.
Another one was the Island Seafood. They had just recently moved to this plaza as well. So hoping good things for all these businesses, that they will be able to rebuild and come back, because they are what makes Sanibel what it is. If some of you don't know, there are no chain restaurants allowed to be on the island. There's only no chains at all. There are a few, which is, we have like CVS, we have a 7-Eleven, we have
CVS there, which is closed.
what else? Dairy Queen, Subway. So those were kind of grandfathered in before the city made a law of no chain restaurants or chain businesses. So all these are mom and pop owned businesses, which makes Sanibel what it is, but also has been a downfall after the hurricane because these businesses don't have the funding.
They don't have the funding of the big corporations, the franchise. They don't have the deep pockets like these big corporations do. This was the home of, this is Wynn's, and then this was the first office of Nick Adams Photography back in 2000. Well, I remember we were probably 2001, 2002. It's the building up there on the top right without a roof. So Finnemore's bike shop is down here as well. He looks like he's got some bikes here. I don't know if they're open or if they're... Oh yeah, our old office is definitely.
So we're glad we moved. What do you
Glad we
remember
moved.
from that, Max? The office.
I was running on the boardwalk, and when I was like 4 years old, and I was told not to run on the boardwalk because it was wooden, and I would get a splinter. And then I went and promptly ignored that, ran on the boardwalk, and got a splinter, and was hospitalized.
I don't know if you're hospitalized.
I went to the hospital.
It was-
I literally did. Because I remember.
But not hospitalized.
No.
Well, what do you call when you go to the hospital?
To the ER.
Yeah.
I went to the ER.
So on the left we've got the villages.
Yeah, the village
Not
shops,
the village shop.
which has made a big turnaround over the years. Roll in there for a second, Nick, just so we can talk about it. It's kind of been a little sleeper place, I guess, on the island that has just recently been brought to glory, I think, because we had Priscilla's of Sanibel, we had Why Not, Coca y Cabana, Watson McCrae Gallery, there was
Traders
Traders 2, all these little cute, a lot of women-owned businesses had moved to this plaza. There was another one that was just about to open, I think on October 1st, was called Bubbly Latitude. I think they were just, what else? Macintosh Books was in here as well. So it was just such a cute plaza, and I think they were just about to hit their stride and come to, yeah, Traders 2, which
Hopefully
was,
it will be back.
Yeah.
This was fairly high up, so I don't know how much water damage they got in the stores. I'm not sure.
yeah. But some of
all the
these
stores are
businesses,
empty, so
right.
they must have got water in
But-
the stores.
a lot of these businesses have an online presence. I know Priscilla's does, and Coca y Cabana, and Macintosh Books has actually moved where, Nick?
Macintosh Books is at Bell Tower Shopping Centre.
Which several businesses have moved to Bell Tower Shopping Plaza in Fort Myers. So if you're in the Fort Myers area, make sure you go check them out. On the left is St. Michael's and All Angels Church.
And we've got the Bean, Ding Darling Nature and Gifts, the Sanibel Fly Outfitters, which have just had new ownership. So straight across you can see the Sanibel Bean to the left, the coffee shop, and then over to ahead to your right you'll see the what used to be the Pirate Playhouse, the theatre, or the J. Howard Wood. Several names.
So we just pulled out of the Sanibel Community Park, and to your right is the Sanibel Community House,
Which did get substantial damage in the old portion of it, but the newer portion fared pretty well by all accounts.
And the poor Island Cow, before the hurricane, they had a fire and they were closed, and now we've had a hurricane. So let's hoping good things for the Island Cow. Some private homes.
So here's Periwinkle Place, probably the premier shopping centre on the island.
Yeah, Pinocchio's just moved there before the hurricane. What else do we have in there? Chico's,
Congress Jewelers, which is now at Bell Tower.
Yep, Blue Giraffe
Giraffe.
Restaurant.
Blue Giraffe has got a little pop-up restaurant there with a food truck.
And what else? Oh, Butterfly Beach. And to the left, we just passed the Congregational Church.
And on the right is Ace Hardware.
And there was Sips Restaurant in the building to the right. Ace Hardware, unfortunately, is not open because they would be doing a roaring trade. And then the next is the
This is, what is it? It's
Tahitian Gardens.
Tahitian Gardens. Home of the Sanibel Cafe.
and
Adventures in Paradise on the right here.
we saw Richard, the owner of the Sanibel Cafe, at the Luminary, which was held at Bell Tower in Fort Myers this year, and he said he is planning on coming back, which is awesome.
He was one of our guests on the podcast, so you can check his episode out. Paper Fig Kitchen is coming back apparently. Little Adventures, Shiny Objects, Pandora's Box, Cedar Chest.
Cedar Chest has a good online presence as well, so check out their website.
Sanibel Soul.
Synergy, I believe they're at Bell Tower Shops in Fort Myers.
Sanibel Resort Wear, and there was Cheeseburger on the right there.
Which sounds amazing.
We're a little bit peckish here, so we could have done with a cheeseburger.
And their frings. Don't you love their frings?
The best.
Fries and onion rings.
Fried and, yeah. Okay, pulling back out onto Periwinkle Place, Periwinkle Road.
Way.
And then this is the home of the trash, basically. So this is where all the trucks, the FEMA trucks that are going around to collect all the rubbish, come here to this central location, which is the old, basically the old schoolhouse. This is the empty lot from the old schoolhouse.
The schoolhouse was moved to the historical village, and this has sat empty for a long time, so they're using this empty lot to, like Nick said, as the repository.
Post.
Staging. Yeah, they bring all the trash here, and then bigger trucks, I believe, come and take it. I'm not sure where. So sad to see. I know we don't really want to show you this, but it is the reality of Sanibel at the moment. And it does not smell good either.
And then coming down here on the left, we've got Jerry's in a little ways actually, but they managed to stay out. They were open, the first shop open, I believe, after the storm. They are on a stilted building, so they did okay.
So before Jerry's is the community church, which has become a hub of activity. The FEMA has put up big tents, the Small Business Administration, they call it the Disaster Recovery Center. So here's the church, and then behind the church, if you need any help with filling out forms, or they had, what else did they have, Nick?
They had Fish had a presence here. They have laundry. They have shower facilities.
Right.
They have.
And for those of you that don't know, Fish sounds like a funny name, but the FISH stands for Friends, Island Friends Help in Service, I think.
Yep.
So here's the FEMA Disaster Recovery Center, and they have washing machines down here. They have a charging station, portalettes, places to wash your hands. And like I said, the Small Business Administration was here as well to help filling out forms for loans, and FEMA was here to help. I think at the moment it is New Year's Day, so I'm not sure how much is happening here today, but alrighty, so we're back on Periwinkle. Just came out of the community church, and then we are coming up to Jerry's on the left, and Mango Bay is on the right, which was a beachwear shop.
Got Jerry's on the left. Some of these stores had wind damage on the roof, so they had some rain damage, but the actual flood didn't go into the building. Restaurant's open, and all the shops are back open now.
I'm not sure if we know if all the shops are open. I don't know. Are they? Yeah, okay. So we're turning, here's the four-way stop, straight ahead is Cassie-Bell Road, and then the Bank of the Islands will be here on your right. And the Island Medical and Business Center and the Lime Tree Center, home of the Island Sun newspaper. Next up is Pfeiffer Realty Group. And the elves are out still.
So this is three Crafty Ladies. Sanibel Home Furnishings had a big presence in the building on the left. On the right, you've got
Sweet Melissa's.
Sweet Melissa's, and then this is the home of Nick Adams Photography behind Island Pizza.
So we go, let's one last hurrah.
We got flooded up to about 5 feet in the building.
Island Pizza sits here on the front, and they are reopening, I believe. I know they have smokers, and they have been smoking meat, and you can buy barbecue, and this was home of Nick Allen's photography.
The sign is still up, and
Yes.
the front door is still open, in case anybody wants to have a look. There's nothing in there, but...
You can see the water line.
You see, yeah, look at the windows, you can see how far the water went up. I guess it was probably about 4 or 5 feet. And that's when you think where I'm actually driving now is probably 18 inches, 2 feet lower than that line. So around here you probably had about 6 feet of water, which is pretty incredible considering how far back off the beach we are. And the upstairs, unfortunately, some of the roof got compromised, so some of the businesses up there, although they didn't get anything from flooding, they got compromised from rain and water from above.
Oh, yeah, there's the smoker you can see for Island Pizza. All right, back on to Periwinkle. We have the Island Garage,
Rachel Pierce's art gallery.
which she's going to be having some pop-up shops in her parking lot, which will be cool.
And then on the left, you've got VIP Realtors.
Traders, which is still open, which is reopened, I guess. They sit up high, so they've been open daily. And
Whitney's is open. Looks like it, yeah, he's got a sale going. Schnapper's Hots. And
that sounds so good too.
The Fish House on the right and the 7-Eleven.
T-shirt
And on the
hut.
left, you've got the VIP Vacation Rentals, T-shirt hut, and
That's
Billy's
7-Eleven.
Rentals. Billy gave let anybody take a bike they wanted to when the island was closed. There was no transportation, and the people just left them wherever, and people picked them up and reused them. This is Mudbugs on the right, which is fully open, as we understand. So
Just last week.
just last week, yeah.
So if you are going to make a trip, out, make sure you patronize these restaurants that are open. This was the Islander Trading Post on the left that took a hard hit because it was a low-down building.
And then this is the back end of
Beachview.
Beachview Golf Course, which, as Laurie said, it's not Beachview Golf Course, it's now called the Sanibel Island Golf Course.
Yeah.
And that is open.
And on the left is this Bailey Homestead, which was, as you'll be able to see it here, it was the home of the Baileys, who started Bailey's General Store. It's the green building that sits back in the left there. It's now owned by SCCF. They take care of it, and they also have the native gardens where you can purchase native plants. So hopefully that will all reopen. And what's next, Nick?
On the right, I can't remember the name. It's the A-frame. You've got Cello, which is another one that the bike just fell off. Cello is open as well. Closes at 6. It's not open today, obviously New Year's Day, but it has been reopened. And on the right here we have Max.
Tipsy Turtle.
Tipsy Turtle.
Which was the Jacaranda, became the Tipsy Turtle now, and Tutti Pazzi, which was Matsaluna's. It's recently had become a restaurant called Tutti Pazzi. And also we have the Shack, which is the newest restaurant, was built, I don't know, a year ago, I guess.
Yep.
So they look like they survived well, and they're reopened, so able to get some fresh frozen custard there.
Huckster's Market on your right. They have a food truck which does subs and sandwiches. And then here we've got She sells seashells.
Which there are no seashells at the moment. Completely empty.
Ron Norman Associates.
John Norman,
sorry. Very high up, so hopefully that didn't get touched. And this is the Periwinkle Park, check out our video about that. That isn't open right now.
That's the campground and trailer park of the islands. The only one has been owned by the Menches since
And
the
the
beginning.
sign there, new growth is not just for plants. There we go.
Tree
And
chop centers.
Dairy Queen on the left. And one of our favourites, the Lazy Flamingo.
Hungry.
And the bait box on the right. Max was at the Lazy Flamingo in Fort Myers yesterday. Sanibel Community Bank.
Norris Home Furnishings. And John R. Wood Properties that they were just refurbing, so I'm curious how they ended up. That was before
Chevron
the
Garage,
hurricane.
which has not reopened since the storm. And here we are coming up to
The four-way stop.
the four-way stop. So we'll leave it at this point. We're going to be heading over the causeway. We'll let it run so you can get a view of the causeway again. But that's we didn't head out to Santiva. Santiva is pretty much the same. If you can see on our previous aerial views of it, there's a lot of devastation. Not much change up there. Obviously a lot tidier. Captiva was relatively untouched, more wind damage than flood damage, although South Seas Resort is now closed. But yeah, that was the tour. Thanks for joining us today. And I hope you
January
enjoyed
1st,
it.
2023. We're going to revisit this January 1st or 2nd, 2024, to show you the improvements, and Sanibel is on its way back. Follow us on the sandcapguide.com website. We've started a page where you can see what businesses are open, the hours, and if you click on the top menu bar, it says what island businesses are open. So we're going to constantly be keeping that updated from now on, just so we can keep everybody in the loop of what businesses are open and where you can come patronize. And here we are coming onto the causeway.
What a stunning day it is today. What's the temperature?
It's 79.
79 or 75 it says there, but yeah, beautiful, beautiful day. See the lighthouse in the distance there.
She is still standing.
So hopefully it will get back to
Yeah, the lighthouse is actually, the light is not working at the minute. I know they're planning on restarting the light, and that'll be a big day, another day towards recovery of the islands.
I haven't, but I can.
The camera's still rolling?
Yeah.
R5C could never.
So you switched them. Looks beautiful on the camera.
Bucks win.
What's that? Bucks win?
Yeah. Up 6 with 42 seconds left.
Who'd they play?
Oh, well, actually, Carolina's about to get the ball back, so. They're playing Carolina, their division rival. The transmission's gotten a lot better.
It has, hasn't it?
What is that?
Since we changed the oil.
Oh. So you turn on something else.
Should be on the boat. Okay, so that was a tour of the Sanibel Island. I hope you've enjoyed it.
January
It's been
1st.
informative.
Right. I don't know if they'd enjoyed it.
No. But it's not all negative, it's a positive move. The island has changed immensely, believe it or not, since when we first came on the island. So it's going in the right direction. Hopefully, when the causeway opens up tomorrow, get many more contractors out here. Hopefully the pace of rebuilding will pick up and the island will be getting back on its feet sooner than fast. So sooner than fast.
So follow us on thesandcapguide.com. We have restarted our weekly podcast. We have a great one coming out with Dane Johnson, fourth generation owner of Bailey's General Store. So follow that, and we have some great ones coming up. So follow us there on all social media channels. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Nick, you're a big TikToker, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you to our Patreons. We've picked up a couple of Patreons recently, which is very, very kind of them. Thank you for that, the support. Without people's support, we couldn't do what we do. So
Yeah, we're at the moment we're doing this. But I mean, we love those islands. We've been here for 23 years, and they are in our heart. And we can't wait to share the recovery with you. And at the moment, we are just working on installing drywall back in our house and trying to get our lives back to normal, because our business was obviously taking family beach portraits and weddings on the beach. Is not happening at the moment. So this is what we want to do, share the recovery of the islands with all of you who love the island so much. So thank you so much.
have a good one, guys. See you on the next one.